It's time to say goodbye to REL 103. I hope this is not the last class you ever take on religion. The purpose of this class has been to introduce to you the basics of religious studies and of Christian theology. I hope you have had a good general sense of the history of religions, of how different societies have historically developed their religious ideas, traditions, and practices. Now, we, of course, no longer live in a primitive society or an archaic one. We are not in the axial age where different cultures from East and West all pursued a universal, coherent, overarching set of answers to life's mysteries. In today's America, we have pluralism, religious liberty, and diversity. Those are our rules. I hope you learned some basics about the Christian tradition, how important the Bible is, the concept of tradition, which is a living organism always in need of further development and new expression. More important, I hope you have come across some really interesting people who represent the best of the Christian tradition. Augustine, Dorothy Day, the patristic fathers, the Blessed Virgin Mary, interesting people from the Bible such as King David, and of course the disciples. Intellectual teachers, some of them from our own country, Bishop Robert Barron, whose videos you have watched, biblical scholar Raymond Brown, professors from our own university, William Portier, Michael Barnes, whose books you have read for the class, and of course my favorite movie series, The Lord of the Rings, written by the British author, Catholic author, J.R.R. Tolkien. Augustine and Dorothy Day are two people that will always be talked about. Even atheists and non-Christians will know about them. I think it's because they addressed some of the most enduring existential questions of humanity, no matter what tradition you come from. Augustine was troubled by the problem of evil and of sin. He knew what it meant to be a good person, but he couldn't quite get there by himself. He realized that to be truly good, we cannot go it alone, that we needed the assistance of God's grace. Dorothy Day wanted a better world for all of us, especially for the poor and the suffering. Her ideal world is where friends gather together at the dinner table, talking to each other and treating each other as Christ would. And she did a lot to bring us closer to that world. So Augustine and Dorothy Day would represent the intellectual Catholic and the practical saint. They're wonderful partially because they're so different from each other. So I hope after this class you can ask yourself some meaningful questions. For instance, what does grace mean to you? What is it that you're searching for in your own life? What is that absolutely necessary ingredient for you? Thomas Merton, an American monk who died in 1968, believes that to find our true selves, we need to spend time in solitude, and we need to ask the most difficult questions. He believes that individuals often get lost in an atmosphere of collectivism, whether it's consumerism, partisan politics, peer pressure, or simply expectations placed on us by others. All these sometimes impede our ability to think for ourselves and to know what is really important. My wish for all of you is that you will attend to your own spiritual life and you'll be able to listen and hear that quiet, small voice that you can only hear in the silence of your heart. So today we live in a very crazy and depressing time. Right? What does normal even mean after coronavirus? How much do we really control our lives? What happens if we pass from this life? Would there be anything on the other side? Does anything have any everlasting meaning? All these questions you have to find out for yourself in your own way by your own effort. My advice is simply to be brave. Have a great and brave, courageous life. Figure out the kind of person that you really want to be and be that person. And there's a lot of inspiration out there for you if you would just look, right? So read great books, literature, history, philosophy, theology. Read smart people from all walks of life. So that is all, my summary for the class, and I will send an announcement to you about how to prepare for your final. Thank you for everything that you have done.